People would say it's the essence of life. This idea of relationships. I mean, it might be a relationship with another person, or it might be a relationship with God, or it might be the relationship kind of internally within ourselves. But over the course of time, largely thinkers, feelers, spiritual, religious people have said that it's in what we might call like the in-between spaces that we find the most abundance, the most fullness in life. One of the ways that this gets discussed in Scripture, in the Bible, what Christians call this compilation of the Hebrew Bible and the Christian Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament. That idea of a testament is this word covenant. And that word covenant comes from a couple of words. If we dig back into the Latin history, is that word with, com, and then venire is the Latin word, which means to come. So this idea of a covenant is, well, it's this sense of come with, meet up with, be with me, these parties. So again, one way that people have understood essentially all of the recounting, the history of the stories that are part of the Jewish and the Christian tradition is by tracking it through covenants, these agreements that get made essentially and usually between God and people. And there's a lot of up and down in that relationship, just like there's a lot of up and down in all of our relationships in life. There's this like steady stream of God's faithfulness that flows through it all. And it doesn't mean that like everything's blemish-free or trouble-free, but there's this intention of a steadiness. And we'll dig a little more deeply into this during today's service, 10 o'clock. You could find us on Facebook if you want. But I want to steer us toward one specific element of the covenant, because sometimes covenants are about a series of rules and compliance, and like the rules are out there, and if you follow those rules, then there will be faithfulness and love that follows. There's this little passage, it's in the book of Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, the 31st chapter. And Jeremiah, speaking for God, says, I will make a new covenant, a new sense of like, come with me. And that new covenant is one that's going to be written on our hearts. And you won't even have to teach people about it, because they'll just know it. When they're quiet, still, and listening, or when they're living out their life in this world, they will just know that covenant. And the essence of the covenant is love and God's presence with us. So, if this is God and this is us, or if this is us and these are other people in our lives, it's this in-between space where we experience this abundance. And one way that the nature of that in-between space gets discussed, it's a covenant. So we might take just a moment, over the course of your day to think about those covenants, they're both oaths, and they're those spiritual commitments that we make. Like, how do those covenants practically, how do they bind you up with other people? How How do you go with other people in your covenant? Finding God in the times of COVID. Today's January the 31st. Blessings on your day.